Just a menace. Just a menace. Menace to sobriety. Just a menace.
I sort of fell into this magic industry or in the career because I just found it so easily to do tricks, and then it's like 10% magic and the rest is patter. I don't have a problem talking. I could talk for England. It's hard, and where the drinking came in is I found it. This is gonna get me. I found it very hard to separate from being the Magic Mod and Ben Taylor, because everyone knew me as the Magic Mod, and that's what really upset me. That not many people even knew my real name. It's very well publicised about the Libertines and the drinking and the drugs.
Yeah.
I thought I had to live up to that reputation. When I come back home, fuck me, he's been on tour with the Libertines. Oh fuck it, I'll go in the pub. What do you want? I'll get everyone a fucking beer. Not that sometimes we can all afford it, but we want to be the centre of attention.
Yeah, of course.
I'll get the bags in. Don't worry about that. You want one as well, son? Yeah, go on, we'll get them. 4, fuck it, get 6.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I thought I had to live up to this reputation.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Menace to Sobriety with your host with the most, and I don't mean to boast, it's Daniel O'Reilly, aka Dapper Laughs, aka Fridge Freezer, Lemon Squeezer, Ebenezer, Do's Your Pleaser. Now listen, I've got a very exciting guest here. This one came about in a strange way. I saw his stuff on Twitter, we got kind of chatting, he's in a similar industry, bit of a different story, and I just thought, yeah, let's get him on, let's have a chat. Let's find out a little bit about how he's doing, what's going on and where he's at. Please make sure that you like, subscribe. If you've got any comments or anything, ping them down in the comment section. I'll try and get hold of everyone and reply. And don't forget, sharing is caring. All right, sharing the podcast might really help someone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mr. Ben Taylor. Hello.
How are you, my friend? Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my friend. And it's the Magic Mod, isn't it?
Yes,
that's the stage name.
I mean, I've been called a few names down the path.
Me too, mate. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll keep them under the table.
Magic Mod. So before we start, Mod, obviously, because of the image, I love that. You're like a... Well, when's that from? That was from back in like the 50s or something, wasn't it? You ain't old enough for all that.
No, listen, my mum and dad were like original mods, and I sort of fell into it. One of the first films I ever saw was Quadrophenia. I should have watched it. It was like an 18. I nicked it from my mum's room once.
Yeah.
Lucky it was Quadrophenia and nothing else, do you know what I mean? Right. And then
Bit homeborn, you would have been shocked.
Me, I would have been ruined.
Different type of conversation.
But I mean, saw that, and I just loved the whole, Phil Daniels is Jimmy. Watched it. I thought, fuck me, he's the coolest geezer in the world. I want a bit of that.
Yeah.
And the whole music, The Who. I mean, the Jam are my favourite bands still are. When I first listened to Setting Suns, the album fucking changed my life.
Yeah.
And it really grew from there. And then along came the magic, and then the name just fitted so well, the Magic Mod.
Wow, I love that. So you're a magician. Yeah. I love the barnet as well. Do the ladies like that?
Well, listen, the missus does. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I say about me belly as well.
Same situation with that, mate.
But all right, so you're a magician, yeah? So you ever done like X Factor or anything like that? Or Britain's Got Talent?
I did, yeah. I mean, Britain's Got Talent, I've done a few times. It's weird. I actually got an email from them once, and they saw some of my stuff online and asked me if I would like to turn up and be part of this. And I'll be honest with you, it's what they do is they give people a great opportunity, and it's a great platform, and you can go from nothing and end up being someone. But I just don't think my act suits them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like a rock and roll version. If I went on there, I'd probably have to tame it down to where I probably only do one trick and don't end up speaking.
Yeah, is it a bit adult, your comedy?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like, imagine getting Liam Gallagher, Paul Weller, and then like Tommy Cooper and moulding them all in together.
Oh, I fucking love Tommy Cooper.
And Paul Daniels as well, and then you get the Magic Mod.
Paul Daniels, though, are you like a fan of Paul do you watch that documentary, Paul Daniels? He was a bit weird.
He fucking was, man, wasn't he? But all the geniuses are, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, look at me. Yeah, I'm a strange fucker. Yeah.
Didn't want to say anything. But like, I got a Paul Daniels magic set when I was about 7 years old, mate, and
that's what
the
set
magic
you off.
Started there, if you pardon the pun. That was it, mate. That was
household name. Used to love Paul Daniels. I saw some of his live shows when I was younger. But look, listen. The reason why you're here, we're going to get into everything. But the reason why you're here is I see your stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
You're quite open about your sobriety journey. How sober are you?
So my sobriety date is June the 30th. So I'm coming up to a year.
Wow.
And, if you were to tell me this last year, mate, there was absolutely no fucking chance I would have believed you, that I'm coming up to a year, because I was that a lot of people don't know this, and when they listen to this, they're going to understand more of the story and probably put a few pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
I had a lot of things going on, mate, and I knew that it was self-destructive. I probably will get emotional because it's the first time I've really opened up about it. All right, so you better be a good hugger.
Yeah, right? Mate. Yeah,
I'll do it's only a hug. We're all right.
Yeah, I'll do a little reach around, mate. Guess never come back.
First time for everything.
No,
mate,
but
right?
That's all right, mate. No, listen, I'm renowned for crying on this thing, but
Good.
But yeah, mate. So look, listen. This is what really interested me: is that you're a newbie, like me.
Yeah.
You're new to the sobriety, but I think this is such a raw time. It's such a beautiful time in your life where the beginning of sobriety is so hard, and then you start fucking seeing it like it can be life. Do you know what I mean? So it's a beautiful time for you to share your journey and to tell people what it's like now. And all of that, all the positive stuff. But before we get into that, I'd like to sort of delve into how it got bad for you, where it all started. But before that, how did you become a magician? Talk me through that, because I've got a feeling that the industry has probably got a part to play in this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, how I become a magician is I started, as I said, like at a young age with a magic set. And I always wanted to be a footballer. Right. I thought I was half decent. My dad thought I was half decent. My mum thought I was shit. Right, she said, "Don't waste your time."
She's real.
Yeah, exactly. My dad was thinking he'd play for Fulham one day, he'd make me a few quid.
Yeah, your old man's thinking of the
but
money.
he was, my mum and my dad are my best mates. I got such a great relationship with them. I ended up in a football academy for 2 years, and if I'd be totally honest with you, it weren't for me. There was people there. I thought I was half decent, and I'm turning up to training with people who make me look fucking amateur, right? And I thought, I can't, this ain't for me. And I really lost love of it. And I was doing academic studies as well. And I was at John Ruskin College in I think it's Selsdon. I might be wrong there, but I know it's somewhere in Croydon. And I just lost it. I lost the whole love for football. And I thought,
How old were you then?
Oh, God. 18.
Oh, right. So you're starting life.
Yeah,
and you thought it was going one way and you're like, fucking hell. How am I going to tell my dad?
I never ended up drinking until I was about 19. I was a late drinker, mate, because I was so fixed on being fit. And that was all I did was I used to eat, sleep and drink football. That's what I wanted to do. I had a dream, and I managed to play for some good local teams at a semi-professional level and all that. But I was never quite good. I had the fitness and I was quick, but I was always easily pushed off the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Wouldn't have a problem now with the amount of fucking weight I put on, mate. But, it sort of messes with your head. And then, I sort of fell into this magic industry or in the career because I just found it so easily to do tricks. And then, it's like 10% magic and the rest is patter. I don't have a problem talking. I could talk for England, and I find it that, I've always loved magic, and I've always had a deck of cards on me. But I never thought I was going to do like a career out of it or end up doing shows. And it's given me everything, absolutely everything, to be able to say that I've been on tours with my heroes, to be able to say I've played in some of the most iconic venues, not only in the UK, but in the world, in front of people from 300 to 3,000 to I think the biggest one, something like 6,000, to end up on TV shows, to have done Soccer AM, other sports shows. And all that through magic, a deck of cards, and just believing in myself.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
But at the same time, it's hard. And where the drinking came in is I found it, this is going to get me. I found it very hard to separate from being the Magic Mod and Ben Taylor, because everyone knew me as the Magic Mod. And that's what really upset me, that not many people even knew my real name. It was just like, all right, Mod, all right, Magic. And then it's like, what's your real name? No one gave a fuck who Ben Taylor is. It was the Magic Mod. And I think that's where the addiction started, mate, to be totally honest with you, is because I felt like I had to keep this sort of people label me as rock and roll's favourite magician. You know what I mean? So I felt like I had to live up to that reputation. And by me caring what people thought of me, nearly fucking ruined me, mate.
Did you find then, because one thing I could completely relate to is the feeling you get doing live shows, right? I've done, stand-up comedy my whole life. And it's very hard for me when I done the O2, the Indigo at the O2, and I was dying to get on the fucking bag, mate. It was weird. Yeah. I stopped at the beginning of the night, I was nervous. I had a couple of beers and a fucking couple of shots. which is terrible, really, because I was pretty drunk when I done the show, so it was nowhere near up to the standard it should have been. And before, years ago, before when I'd done the Troxy, I actually done an all-nighter the night before in front of, that was one of the biggest shows I ever done, sold out the Troxy. And I'd done an all-nighter the night before because I wanted to get the show done and I wanted to get on it. It was weird. And with the O2, as soon as I came off stage, I got on it. It was like I did not want the high to finish. It was like the high from the show. I didn't want the high to finish. And that caused me so many problems because my missus was away on her honeymoon and stuff. But not honeymoon, on her honeymoon, on the fucking Hindu. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that high that you get from performing and like being you, it almost makes Ben feel shit. Do you know what I mean?
You've just nailed everything there, you know, and I'm so glad that someone else is saying what I'm going to say. And honestly, that is the first time I've ever heard it from someone else. But you're right. I'm on that stage, people are shouting at you. Sometimes it's you know, lovely stuff, and then it's attention though. I love it though. I love it, and I'm very good with the comebacks, so it doesn't bother me. I encourage it, but as soon as you get off that stage, I needed that buzz. So I ended up finding the gear. You know, got to the point where everyone else was, oh, let's watch the rest of the shows, and that. Fuck that! I locked myself in the room, play music, be racking them up. You know what I mean? Because as you said, the highs are fucking fantastic, and as soon as you're off that stage, right, I need the high again. And sometimes I was up for fucking a couple of days on an all-nighter, still living off that, oh, I've just played this venue, fucking brilliant, and all that. Fuck me, why was I acting like that? My addiction got the better of me.
I think what it is as well, just to, if you don't mind me interjecting, but I think just because I really relate to what you're saying, actually. I really relate to what you're saying. It's like reality wasn't good enough. Do you know what I mean? Reality wasn't good enough, and I feel like you almost believe your own hype, and then the drugs allows you to sort of continue that. Do you know what I mean?
100%, 100%. I mean, this is the weird thing, right? Before I did like the first shows. I mean, the first time I ever went out with like a band or did stuff with music was with Paul Weller. He gave me 3 shows. I did 2 shows at Hammersmith Apollo and 1 show in Brighton.
Wow. And so you're warming up for him?
So the way it worked with Paul was I was going around the auditoriums, going backstage, doing tricks with the bands in the intervals and all that. Like it was fucking fantastic. You know, Paul Weller, a bloke who I grew up listening to as a kid, and to be able to call him a friend. And remind me in a minute to tell you a story about him, because there's something that I really want to get out there. But you know, what a lovely moment. And then a tour I did when I was away for about 2.5-3 weeks was with the Libertines, and I thought it was the same thing, right? I thought just going to be warming up the crowd and this and that, right? And then I said, right, where am I going? And then Cole from the band went, you're going on the stage. I went, fucking what? Like, I didn't have an act ready for the stage. I thought I was going to go around the crowd and that. And,
oh, wow.
Right?
That's how you...
And then I sort of got a camera ready and on the side, and I was literally like, fucking bricking it. I never touch a drink or anything before a gig, but I have really bad anxiety and I can't do it. Like, so it got to the point when the first show we did was Warrington Park Hall. I couldn't walk out there. Like, I physically couldn't. It's like I had cement blocks on my feet. Couldn't walk out there. And Cole and Pete come up to me and said, listen, you're here for a reason. We wanted you here. We no one else asked you. We want you here. We know what you can do. Now go out there and show them what you can do. Do you know what? And I learned a lot from that show. I didn't go out there and fail. You know, I learned a hell of a lot out of that show. And I always say this, for that band, the Libertines, to have given me that chance and that platform, forever they will be brothers to me. And I've got such a great relationship with them. But at the same time, I mean, it's very well publicised about the Libertines and you know, the drinking and the drugs. I thought I had to live up to that reputation. You know, when I come back home, fuck me, he's been on tour with the Libertines. Oh, fuck it, I'll go in the pub. What do you want? I'll get everyone a fucking beer. You know, not that sometimes we can all afford it, but we want to be the centre of attention. Yeah, of course. I'll get the bags in. Don't worry about that. You want one as well, son? Yeah, go on, we'll get them. 4, fuck it, get 6.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Of course.
I thought I had to live up to this reputation. Right?
So was you using heavy on that tour, drinking and that? Was you drinking to get the confidence to go on stage?
Before a show, couldn't do it. After, fucking flat out, mate. It was one night when I remember playing cards with them all, and we left Plymouth, and I was drinking fucking shitload. And before, in my own dressing room, I was fucking using. And Next thing you know, we're playing cards and I'm just drinking gin out of a teacup.
Ugh.
You know, I don't even like fucking gin, but it's the only thing I could find in the fridge.
Yeah.
And in a fucking teacup. I mean, I know there's a lyric, gin in teacups. I think it was a Baby Shambles song, but Albion the song was. But it's like, I'm thinking, fuck me, this is rock and roll. I'm fucking great here and all this, right? Fucking brilliant. Next thing you know, their managers come down and it's like, I'm the only one on the fucking tour bus now. Everyone else is in bed and I'm just sitting down here drinking, fucking loving my life. It's about 6 in the fucking morning.
Fuck.
And he's come down and gone, you're right, are you? And fucking there's pizza on the floor, there's playing cards fucking everywhere. And he went, I think you got to go to bed, son. Now, they kept me going thinking that I was going to, like, they were winding me up, the management, thinking, oh, no, you're in big shit now. Because they knew I was always like, I worried about upsetting people. It's just the way I am. I hate upsetting people. And they were keeping me going, this might be your last show now. I was thinking, fucking hell, but they were only winding me up because it was, you know, a magician on a tour bus with the Libertines is unheard of, mate. And I remember, I know,
it's bad when they're complaining about you staying up too long on the Libertine complaint. Do you know what I mean? That might have been a moment where you went, I think I might got an issue here.
Well, they actually said to me, I said, fuck, was I that bad? And they looked at me, all of them, and they were like, mate, you're on fucking tour with the Libertines. I wouldn't worry about it. But I was like, I was just loving my life, mate, because of course, you know, to be on there with your heroes, fucking unbelievable, mate.
Yeah, I think there's always an element as well of, as you know, like I always say it, that we've all got a certain amount of, like, an allocated amount of drink and drugs that we're allocated in our life, and if you do it too quick or in a short amount of time, it can fuck you up. Like it can get you addicted. And you know, I put stuff on my social media, and people often, there's a lot of lads out there that chip and just like, look, listen, take it or leave it, mate. Just have a couple of lines or a couple of beers. But I think if you have abused it, if you have pushed it too far a few times, that's what you get used to. That's your idea of a sesh. And I think that you touched on something that we'll go into that I truly, honestly believe that I'm not interested. Like me and you maybe are similar. I'm not interested in a couple of lines or a few drinks. I want to get fucking obliterated, yeah. And it's the self-destruct button, right?
I mean, who goes out for fucking one beer?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Oh, let's just have one beer, a couple of beers, then we'll go home. Fuck that, mate. As soon as that beer hits my fucking lips, I'm already thinking, where am I going to get a bag from?
Yeah.
That's how bad it was, mate.
Yeah,
and it's not that you know yourself, right? And there's something that I'm going to say as well that I saw you say it once, right? When you admitted, fuck, I'm an addict here, I've got a problem. That's when it's took me so long. I mean, I've been doing this whole recovery thing. Started it probably 4 years ago, going into meetings and doing a couple of weeks off and going, fuck me, this is a doddle. What am I going on about? And then going back on it.
Yeah.
And it's always worse when you go back on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, like now, as I said, the longest I've done it, the way I look at it is, at the moment, I've put my addiction in prison, right? And why it's in prison, it's doing fucking push-ups, mate.
Yeah.
And it's waiting to come back out. And when that addiction comes back out, it's going to be fucking bad.
Yeah.
And that's why he ain't coming back out again. And I can say that because I know what I'd done wrong in the past when I was going through sobriety and what I'm doing right now.
That's definitely that's definitely, you know, I think there's stages of it. First of all, questioning yourself, do I have a problem? People don't want to do that. There'll be lads watching this, or people or women out there, or people that come across this, and they're watching it going, oh, I think I've got a problem, or, you know, I think I can't, once I start, I can't stop, and it's ruining everything. But to get to the point where you go, oh, I've got a problem, one, that's fucking scary, because it means you're admitting you've got a problem and you've got to stop it. But the scariest point of it all is when you try and stop it and you can't. That's when it hits home that, fuck, you're fucked.
It's going to upset me. There was a time where I went to Brighton to see Miles Kane with a friend, and we went out early doors, and straight away, before we even had a drink, we ended up getting 2 bags in. We knew what was going to happen. You know, why stop the inevitable? It's going to happen, mate. You know, fuck it. It's easier to get them now at 2 PM than it is at fucking 1 AM or whatever. Yeah. And I went to the gig, and I'm fucking out of my face, mate. And Miles Kane brung on Paul Weller to do a T-Rex number. They both did a song together, and I went out there and tapped on the back. It's Concord 2 in Brighton they played. I tapped on the window, and Paul saw me and he waved me in, and he said, "Are you all right?" And I was fucking like, I said, Paul, I don't think I am, mate. And I was really honest. First time ever I've been honest. And he said, if I was you, mate, I'd lay off the drink and the drugs. And to hear that from someone who's seen it all and done it all, and who...
But also that must have hurt you a bit.
Mate, it's fucking ruined me because, like, as I said, and here come the tears probably, I never thought I had a problem. You know, I thought I could do it, but it was fucking... Right, it was like, it was one of them things where, like you said, you don't like to admit you've got a problem. And I hid it well, but I think a lot of people knew. Let me tell you, Dan, there was this show I did once in London. I didn't even take it seriously. I was doing a tour. It was like a mini tour. This was about 5-6 years ago. And the next day I was in Glasgow. And the Friday I was in London, and a mate turned up with some gear. I fucking knocking them out before I even went on the stage. So from me telling you I've never done it before to then I was doing it before I went on. I went on the stage and the bloke he's recorded it. I've listened back to it a few months down. Fuck me, oh my God. See, the crowd were laughing and they loved it. They loved it because the tricks were still there, the comedy was there. But I'm watching it back and I'm like,
you know your standard.
I sounded, I just wouldn't fuck up. I was just going on talking and the comedy, as I said, I was on point. Everything was brilliant. But I'm watching it back and listening to it back, going, nah, that's not on. I can't do that. So anyway, from then London ended up getting back at like 3-4 in the morning. I'm up again at 8 to get a plane to Glasgow to do a show. Fucking all day on it, mate. All day on it. Went to this bar.
On your own?
No. So these group of lads picked me up who I was doing the show for. I was fucking going for it, mate. I couldn't give a fuck. They're buying me everything I wanted. You know, I'm not saying I take the piss, but I was like, well, if you're going to offer, boys, do you know what I mean? You know yourself, when people offer you stuff, you go, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
And I was drinking bottles of fucking Buckfast. I had a miniature of, or not a miniature, but like half a litre of Jack Daniels. I was doing that. Went on the stage to do my act and people just thought, oh, like I was fucking gone, mate. I was absolutely gone. You could have told me I was fucking David Blaine. I would have believed you.
But you must have stumbled on visually. They must have been like, fucking, what
They loved it. The thing is, they loved it. And that's what tricked me. Because it made me think I can do this.
And you thought, this is what I'm meant to be. I'm like a rock star magician.
And it was awful. And I remember that the come down, fuck me. I ended up going back to someone's house. I had a hotel, didn't go back to the hotel because this geezer was like, do you want to come back to mine? And we got a guitar and all that. And I was like, fuck that. Got a few beers, fuck that. Got a few grams of gear, fuck me, get the cab, we're going. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah.
I wanted to go there, and fuck, it's the thing is, right, where I am now is I'm able to be honest with myself, and that's what makes me so proud. I mean, you're going to get people on social media saying, oh fuck me, he was a gearhead, he was this and that. Listen, mate, I'm fucking honest where I was. There's a lot of people out there who want to be honest and want to stop, but they can't. And for people like that, my heart goes out to them. Yeah,
I think. Look, first of all, I commend you and everyone that comes on this podcast to be honest, because ultimately the reason why you're talking about it, like we said outside, the reason why you're talking about it is to just help someone, because the maddest thing about sobriety is the clarity that you get afterwards. From now, like you're looking back, going, fucking hell, I can't believe it. That's what I do. I look back and I'm like, how did I fucking get away with that? What was I doing there? And then you can relate to people that are still stuck in it, and you're thinking to yourself, I want to help. And just quickly on, you speak, because I had it the other day. I got the right hump on my fucking Menace to Sobriety Instagram. And it pisses me off when I'm trying to relax. I'm at home trying to relax, and I'll jump on my Instagram, and there's some twat on there like giving me shit. And most of the time, I can just block, and then it's out of my life. Plus they're like, oh man, he didn't reply, I'm just blocked. But sometimes I'm like, let's go. Oh mate, it's hard, isn't it? I know you get
you saw someone
on Twitter, you had some.
I mean, everyone listen, all right, I do go on about my sobriety. Why? Because I'm fucking proud of it. I also go on about my son. Why? Because I'm proud of him. I also tell everyone since I've played at the Barrowlands, that's one of the most iconic venues, how fucking proud I am.
It's like Carl Froch going on about Wembley, mate. Fuck it.
How many people was it in front of?
60,000.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean?
Legend.
You're going to get people though, and do you know what? I couldn't give a fuck what people like that thing, because I know why I'm doing it. And I tell people, someone said to me, why do you sort of
Preach.
document your sobriety. And I'll tell you now why I do it. One, it helps me.
Keeps you sober.
It helps me.
If you say it, you've got to live it.
Exactly. And the second one is, since I've done the first one, so many people messaged me.
Yeah.
And this ain't a joke. Must have been 3-4 a week. Maybe even more. Asking me, what's the secret? How do you do it? Let me be honest with you. There is no secret. You know, it's as simple as you need to put the work in. Now, I don't know. I've ended up going to the rooms before, right? And the worst thing I ever did was look at people and judge them.
The meetings,
sorry, yeah. And I ended up judging people. The first time I ever did it was when I went, it got so bad, Dan, that I went away to Manchester to watch one of the best bands, the Rifles. Fucking love them guys. And they stuck me on the guest list down there. And then I ended up watching Fulham play.
Sober still?
Oh, fuck, no chance, mate. I was on the piss by about early doors then, mate. This was 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
like
okay.
6 years ago. Ended up going to Burnley away as well. And, mate, I was fucking off my head, mate. Fucking off my head. I ended up in a hotel room on my own. My mates ended up going out. I stayed in this hotel room and I was fucking sniffing and drinking, watching repeats of when Fulham got to the fucking Europa League final, right? When they beat Juventus 4-1, going, fuck me, that Clint Dempsey, what a player he is. Rewind, watch it again. And then
I used to do the same with boxing. It's weird. You're getting your own fucking world, mate, where you're just living a dream.
I did that. I used to watch boxing clips and then I ended up smashing the fucking hotel room up.
Did you?
No, I just thought it'd be funny, but it didn't work, did it? Fucking, I ain't going to get a guest slot on your tour now, am I? Fuck about. I'm trying, mate. But I ended up like, I was in this hotel room sniffing, and then fucking when that went, I called someone else and went, can you drop one off? And then all my mates are like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I didn't feel well. Little did they know, like I think a lot of people knew that I was struggling. And you know, it takes a big man, and that's why, you know, also, I think you need to hear. I'm also proud of you for what you've done, mate. Because
thank you, man.
People, we've watched your career. We've seen the highs and we've seen the lows, right? And for you, what you're doing, mate, fucking take me out of fear. And I am proud of you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Don't know you well enough, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we've only just met, but
no, thank you, man.
Fucking brilliant, mate. And I think you need to hear that sometimes.
Thank you, mate.
I mean it, mate. And after that, I ended up going to the meetings. I got back. Fucking, it's the worst thing you ever need to do. You know, like didn't get a train. I ended up getting fucking an 8 or 9 hour coach back from London, from fucking Manchester
come down
to Gatwick, and I'm like sitting there going, fucking hell. Still had a bit of gear in my pocket. I was thinking, I'm right by the cubicle here, shall I just sneak? But I was thinking, no, can't do it. Just fucking wise up here. And that night when I got back, I ended up going to this meeting, right? I told me and my mum, best relationship ever. She's my hero. Mum and dad are my heroes. And telling them that I had a bit of a problem was fucking awful, mate. But, you know, they want the best for me. And I like to think I've made them proud. And I remember standing outside this door, mate, and I physically couldn't open the door. It's like when I went back to the first tour with the Libertines. On stage. I couldn't do it, mate. I was standing there. I was fucking standing there. And I couldn't do it. And I shut my eyes, and no word of a lie, somehow I just walked through it. I don't know what the fuck happened. Somehow, maybe someone was behind going, fuck me, get in there, mate. You're holding the queue up. You know, I don't know what the fuck it was. Someone got me in there. I don't know how. And I sat there at the back of the room, didn't want no one to speak to me. And I'm looking around going, fuck me, what am I doing here? Right? And I feel so bad for judging people, for looking at people and judging them. I would never forgive myself for doing that, because that was an absolute disgrace for me to do that, because no one told me I had to go there. I told myself I had to go there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, look, you're people, we judge, man. And, you know, there's a lot of people that are judging us online. There's a lot of people that, I mean, and first of all, well done. I've never done the meetings, but I speak to a good friend of mine, a couple of good pals of mine, really close pals of mine, Kirk and Matt, and a couple of other people that have done meetings or are doing meetings, and they've said that I should try it. And I think that I'm going to. I just think that I've been scared to do it because it's like another level of admittance. Do you know what I mean? It's like another level of like showing that you've got a problem, and my ego's kind of like, you know, I'm doing all this work, I'm sober 6 months, do I need to? But But a lot of people say to me, you know, they've seen people go sober for years and it just takes one thing and they're fucking.
And that's it. And,
so you got to put the work in.
And that's the scary thing. I mean, I still work. I do my readings. I do my prayers. Doesn't mean I'm religious. You know, I don't even know what my higher power is. I think, if I'm being honest, it's my family and my son. They inspire me every day. Of
course it is.
And you know what it is I've let the person I'm with. I mean, my previous relationships, Dan, they weren't going anywhere, if I'm being totally honest. They were parties all the time.
Yeah, of course.
They were fucking parties, mate. And, you know, at the time, of course, you're loving it, ain't you? You think this is brilliant. But when I met Nadine, who, fuck me, man, what a woman to put up with what I put her through. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck, like...
Yeah, it's deep, man.
Yeah, it is, man, it is. And do you know what? I will talk about it. I won't go to, but I will. You know, there was times where... I let the girl down. There was a time in particular when she was pregnant, and I went away to watch Fulham. She knew I was going to end up on the piss. I wouldn't say she gave me a pass, but it was sort of like, well, I'm here, and do you know what I mean? Ended up smuggling fucking half a bottle of Malibu into the ground, just stuck it down my boxers. I thought no one's going to check down there. If they ask, I'll just say, you know, that's God's gift to me. You know what I mean, eh?
Yeah.
Right? And ended up getting a couple of bags. I fucking left the game at half time. I mean, we were 2-0 up against fucking Hull. I left at half time. I thought, fucking walk in the park. Right? Ended up in the pub. And I got a call from Leah, who, again, love Nadine's sister. She's had to put up shit with me as well. And they're both amazing fucking girls, right? And they're a credit to their family. And she called me saying Nadine's been rushed to hospital. Basically, she's had a bit of a bleed. Right, I get on the near, you know, as soon as I can, I get on the flight and go home. Do you think that happened?
Oh, mate.
No, it didn't, mate. I was still out there pissing it up and fucking sniffing up and that when someone needed me the most. But take the drugs and the drink away. Would I have done that? Absolutely fucking not. I would have been there, and she knows that, and she doesn't hold any grudge against me because she knows, man. Do you know what I mean?
Come on, man.
I told you, didn't I? Eh?
That's all right.
I appreciate it.
I know how tough it is, mate, the guilt.
But it gets worse. I wasn't even answering my phone, mate. I was just, because I got away with so much in the past, because I used to...
You don't give a fuck.
Piss on the time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I do.
No, I know.
But when you have a drink
yeah.
and a drug, you're the most selfish person, and that's not who I was.
Was she all right?
Oh, yes. Thank God she was, mate. It was just a bit of a scare. And, you know, in September 26th, my beautiful boy, who's amazing, Lonnie, named after Lonnie Donegan, the singer, he come out and my life did change, mate. It did. And I thought, this is it now. But then the same thing happened. I used to go out after shows and that, and I'd forget where I'd fucking live. You know what I mean? And it's a fucking horrible thing, mate, to know you've got everything, because I have got everything. You know, I don't care about fucking big houses, expensive this, expensive that. No.
You lose your missus and your kids. You could have fucking £20 million in the bank. You wouldn't give a fuck.
I wouldn't give a fuck. I mean, I'm on 19 million at the moment, so you know. But like,
who are you playing for?
Fuck you know. It's like, I just having a family and being happy was all I ever wanted, mate. Right, and I would have given up everything to have done it. Right, and my addiction was bringing me further away. And the reason I say she's put up with fucking hell of a lot, and she is the most amazing person I've ever met, you know. And I'm not just saying that for her to listen to and go, oh, fuck me, that's amazing, just to butter her up. She fucking is, mate, and I do tell her. And she has been hard on me because she knows that I deserve it, you know. And she's from Northern Ireland, so I wouldn't want to fucking mess with her, mate, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like, it hasn't been easy, mate. And to have done that, I mean, that was the worst one. And I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to talk about it.
But no, I could tell it's there, and you want to fucking let it out. These things are like therapy sessions. When they're there, you've got to let them out. And if it's any sort of condolences to you, or if it eases it anymore, that's my pain as well. Getting smashed on the wedding day, not remembering much of that. All the times I've kicked off at her drunk, and you know, wetting the baby's head for days after both my kids were fucking born. Do you know what I mean? And a similar situation, I was out in town for my mate's birthday, just me and him, fucking bang on it. And someone tried to break in my house with my missus was there with my baby, and I sent my mates around there instead of going home. It was, you know, and it's the same thing, the selfishness, the absolute sheer selfishness of drinking drugs. But there's two ways to look at this, because I find the guilt and the shame heartbreaking when I think about it. But the mad thing is, through my sobriety, the first few months, everything hits you like a ton of bricks, man, because your emotions are there for the first time. Every time we got emotional before, we drink, right?
Yeah.
You get smashed. Anytime, if you're really happy with emotions, you drink, you're celebrating. If you're really sad, you drink, commiserate, whatever. Any excuse, actually, to drink. Life was a fucking party, right?
Exactly.
And when you go sober and all your emotions start coming up, it was really, really difficult, because with ADHD as well, I don't know if I've got ADHD, and it really heightens your emotions. You get low dopamine levels, really fucking intense emotions. And I found it really, really difficult coping with my thoughts about stuff I'd done wrong, because my ego's mental. I never thought I'd done nothing wrong. I'm allowed to sesh, I'm allowed to drink. Look at the fucking house you're living in. Look at the fucking work I'm doing. I'm grafting. Fuck me. Let me enjoy myself. Everything's fucking hard work. And then slowly over time, I've kind of put it to bed, and I've kind of come to peace with it, because I think to myself, how would I know how to be a good man unless I've been a fucking arsehole? Do you know what I mean? How would I know that drink and drugs aren't going to serve me unless I've fucking done copious amounts of it? How am I going to know that my wife deserves more than just money and fucking nice things? How would I know that my wife deserves respect unless I disrespected her and I've got that clarity? Do you know what I mean? So I think the truth of it is mistakes are the only way we learn. It's just when you keep repeating them and you don't learn, that you got to hold yourself accountable. So try not to harbour that guilt too much, because it can destroy you.
100%, mate. And as I said, you know, you fucking sort of did. I mean, when me and Nadine first met, I did a show in the Shard, and she was in London with her mates, and we were talking for ages, and, you know, there was definitely a spark, man. Fucking hell. And I met her for a bit, and we caught up, and we just hit it off. Just really hit it off. And I said, right, for my birthday, why don't we go to Manchester? We're both spend a few days there. Before I know it, she's already booked a fucking flight for Manchester. She's booked a hotel for us for my birthday. I'm thinking, fuck it.
She wants that magician money, baby.
I know, right? Yeah. Fucking hell. And yeah, the day before I went to Manchester to meet her, I was on a pub crawl in Brighton with my dad's mates and all that. And fuck, I can't remember how many pubs we cleared out, mate. Fucking hell. A fair few. And I ended up obviously getting some gear. No, I'm going to Manchester next day. I got in at 2:00 in the morning. My train, I know, right? That's early for me, right? Normally later, but I ended up getting home. I ended up getting had the train had to be up from Crawley Station to get the 7:00 train, get to Houston, and I think the train was something like 8:30, 9:00. I don't know, something like that, to Manchester. Saw the M&S. 6 cans of their finest lager.
Well, so you fucking showed up smashed, mate, basically.
Oh, mate, 6 cans of their finest lager, bottle of champagne. I thought, yeah, that'd be for the hotel room. Didn't even make fucking Manchester, mate. It was gone. And I still had, obviously, the gear. I'm fucking on that train, listening to my tunes, getting pumped up, listening to a bit of Oasis, fucking having it. Oh, this is going to be brilliant. Is it too early for it? Fuck it. Cans are open. Fucking... the old fucking champagne cork's going off. Nearly took someone's fucking eye out with it. Never mind, I'm on the piss. Fucking, fuck it. Shall I have one? Yeah, why not? Fuck it. In the toilet. Fucking, you know, put your phone out, racking it up.
Fucking hell, mate.
Proper going for it, mate. I've turned up. I'm like, hey, all right, girl. Fuck it. She's looked at me, and if, you know, fuck me, if you paint a picture or someone took a picture of that, she'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh, man.
Now, we had the best time. And that is the honest truth.
How did she know you were fucked?
Oh, fuck me. I think Stevie Wonder would have known, to be honest with you. I mean, it was that obvious. I was out my fucking face, mate. And I got there at about 11.
But it's just irrational, isn't it?
I was fucking gone, mate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what time's check-in? Don't worry. We leave the bags there. We're going straight to the Witherspoon.
Yeah. What was the, let me ask you, what was the pivotal moment, man? What was the pivotal moment
That's made me think this is it.
No, I've got to go sober.
Yeah, so I ended up doing a show in Wales and I said to myself, I'm not going to drink. Test yourself, not going to drink. Got there 10 in the morning. I wasn't due to do a bit of performance till about 6 in the evening. Got offered a drink at about 10:30, 11. And then we ended up going to this little seaside village. And fuck, that was it, man. I was getting shots and they're going, oh, it's not that sort of fucking party. Yeah, don't worry, I was on tour with the Libertines. You got to get this down, you fucking Gregory.
Oh my
what
God.
the fuck? Do you know what I mean? And it got to the point where I ended up calling Nadine at like 10:30, 11 o'clock when she's asleep. She's got work the next day. Looked at my phone and called her like fucking 50, 60 times. I've even called her sister saying, why ain't she answered? Oh, I know, right? And I'm thinking...
Was you on the bag then as well?
No, but
just
I tried. I
Yeah.
tried to get some, mate.
In Wales?
I know, right? I was fucking texting people I know. Right, I'm in Wales. Yeah, Wales is fucking massive. Whereabouts are you? Here. Mate, you're about fucking 60 miles away. Don't worry. I'll fucking, just let me know.
Oh
I'll pay
my
for
God.
the petrol.
Did you do the show?
Yeah, but it was embarrassing, mate. I even got told it was fucking car crash, mate. Fucking car crash.
Oh, mate,
It was, mate.
bad.
But do you know what? And that was it. I looked at myself and I said to them and I apologised. And they knew. They even had a chat with me. And
Well,
they
it said, you got a problem, mate.
Yeah. They said you have, but they didn't tell me as if to be disrespectful or anything. They told me because they wanted to help me. And
It's such a dent on your ego and your life, isn't it? It's a fucking,
is, but
it's
you
the
know-
worst thing to hear from anyone, mate. Sort yourself
do you know
out.
the best thing about it though is that was my rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have sunk any lower, mate, because I was drinking far too much. I put on shitloads of weight and I was pretending. I mean, fuck me, I was happy. I was happy, but then it was still like I wouldn't say I was ashamed, but I was scared because I got the most amazing family, and I was afraid I was letting them down,
Yeah.
and I was scared that I was a shit dad, and that's the truth of it. You know, I was scared that I weren't going to be good enough for my boy, and that I couldn't.
You got to set an
know,
example as well,
and
man.
do you know what? I am a fucking good dad.
Yeah.
He looks at me, he smiles, he loves everything I do. I love everything about him. I am a fucking fantastic dad. But because of this addiction, it was saying, oh, yeah, I don't know, maybe you should just, sort of have a few drinks and that. And it was a car crash, mate. Fucking car crash. So much so, I called her and she said, Ben, this is it now. It's either the drink or me. And I got to the point where I was that bad. I thought, well, fuck you, I'm going on with this. But something in me said, no, that's it. And I stopped. That was it. Hit the nail on the head there. I went back to some meetings and I looked into it. And for the first time, I put my hands up and went, I'm an addict. I'm powerless over drink and drugs. That is it.
God, that's hard, isn't it?
It is, but it fucking saved me, mate. And I remember a month later, how's this for a test? I'm doing a show. I'm in this band, sharing this dressing room with this band, and we got all these people in there fucking chopping up on the side. Do you want one? And I'm like, oh, fucking hell, mate, what the fuck is this? No, I'm all right. I don't do that because I'm not a cunt anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that. And I didn't. And I thought,
Well, how did I? Oh, see, ain't that hard?
exactly.
Yeah.
I thought,
It
hang
is
on,
hard.
pal.
Yeah.
But it is, like you said, you still got to put the work in. And I remember, can't think where else it was. There was another situation about 2 months later. I ended up doing a festival, performing at a festival, which, I mean, everyone knows what happens at festivals. Fucking drinking drugs galore. People on
Disco
fucking
minge, mate.
pills. Oh, my God. Fucking pills. Fucking everyone's
Yeah.
on the fucking piss. A lot. And I didn't feel the need to do anything. I thought, hang about, something's clicked here.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need. I'm walking around with a bottle of water and I'm proud to go up to people saying I'm in recovery, I'm all right, I'm sober. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mate, first off, I'm proud of you, mate. Well done.
brother. Thank you.
Well done. It's always like really fucking refreshing to hear someone else's story that I can relate to so much. I think that a couple of things I just want to unpick and just emphasize for you, like where you said, they say that cliche where you said, I just had to admit I'm an addict. And then you said, I'm powerless over drink and drugs. I mean, the beautiful thing about that is the word addict and I'm an addict it's a dirty word, right? And none of us want to use it. And like that when I was saying to you earlier that, the other day when I got pissed off with someone on my Instagram. They were trying to fucking trigger me, right? So they were saying to me, yeah, it ain't my fault that you're a crack addict, and all this stuff, right? Now, I know the difference between crack and cocaine, but he was essentially saying there's no difference. But and then I looked into it, I'm like, right, you're trying to trigger me, man, by saying that. You're trying to trigger. And then he was going, addict. And I thought to myself, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I am an addict, mate. And then I thought to myself, actually, do you know what, right? If we all fucking admit it, every single person on this fucking planet is an addict. We're all an addict. Everyone's an addict. We are habitual fucking creatures. That's literally how we learn, by habit, by repetition, right? Whether you're addicted to scrolling on your fucking phone, it's all dopamine hits, everything. Chocolate, sex, scrolling on your phone, social media, fucking watching porn, drink, coffee. I mean, I'm bang on the coffees now. How many people do you know that can't function without coffee? You're a coffee addict, 100%. Right? So I'm not taking that shit no more. Yeah, I am an addict, but it doesn't, you can't call me, you're not, just because my addiction's worse and more dangerous. But my point is, you don't have to look at yourself really as an addict. You can just say what you did and hold your hands up and say, once I start, I am powerless. Hey. Right? And that's the truth, because although sometimes it didn't get like that for me, sometimes I'd have a few and something in my head would go, don't get on the gear, and do you know what, just go home. Come on, man, you're taking the piss. Maybe 2 times out of 10 I'd do that. The other fucking 8 times I'm like, fuck this. Fuck, if she's ringing, I'm putting the phone down. If I'm supposed to be doing something, mate, for years and years and years and years, I was doing personal appearances, flying out to different fucking countries, and I'll do the whole thing off me nut smashed. If it weren't my gig to my audience, if it was my gig to my audience that I'd sold tickets to, I'd drink, but I wouldn't use. But if it was anyone else's gig, if it was a nightclub or anyone else's thing, I'd be like, yeah, because they wanted Dapper Laughs, right? Yeah. So, and Dapper Laughs was the king of the sesh, just the same as the Rockstar thing. So I think that's a great takeaway for people out there. You don't have to look at it as addiction. You just have to hold your hands up and say, I'm powerless to it. And the other thing is, we got to use the things important to us as motivation. So, like you said, you didn't want to be a shit dad. I mean, I've been married a matter of a couple of months, and I was kicked out like 2-3 months, which should have been the happiest. It breaks my heart. Should have been the happiest time of my life. But if it wasn't for my missus not putting up with my shit and putting her foot down and not having my kids, there's no way. If I didn't have kids and there's probably, I don't think I'd be sober. There's no motivation for it, right? But this weekend, they were away. They went up to Manchester. They were away, and it was a bank holiday weekend when I was fucking, mate, my triggers were going. Honestly, but only like at moments, because now I see my triggers. When my triggers, when you have, you think, oh, that's a nice thought. You go to yourself, oh, do you know what? I wouldn't mind. I would not mind a couple of beers in the beer garden with my mates. Oh, I'm missing out. I can't. They're all getting pissed. And then you're like, hold on a second. If you really wanted a couple of beers with your mates in the pub, go and sit there and have an alcohol-free beer.
Or a fucking Coke.
Or a Coke or something. If it's the social situation, no, that ain't what you want. What you want is to get absolutely smashed. And I'm like, that is what I want. That is what I want. And I talk myself through that thing, mate. You're not interested like everyone else is capable of doing, having a couple of drinks. You're down there to get absolutely off your nut. So no, mate, that ain't a good idea for you. I have that conversation and then I'm back in the room. But if my kids are fucking running around while I'm having that conversation, it's easier. But when they're not there, it's a tough chat.
Fuck, 100%, mate. I mean, I still feel like that sometimes. You go, oh, what if you did what? But then
I do that. I lie to myself.
You've come this far.
Yeah.
Why would you want to?
And what do you want? What do you actually want? Destruction. What do you want? What do you want? And I always think of the words. I want to get fucked up, mashed, annihilated. I want to get wasted. These ain't positive words. It's not like I want better well-being. I want to feel emotionally stable. I want to be a good father. I want to be a positive role model. So I want to get fucked.
Yeah. But it's like, again, what I do now is if ever I get into a situation where I think, or people try and peer pressure you, which a lot of people don't do it now because they know how
my mates know they get now. Yeah, my mates, that's silly.
But another thing, you notice how many people don't fucking bother calling your or anything like that. All these people you used to think were fucking friends don't even fucking bother.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a hard thing,
mate. I've cried on this podcast before about the fact that I know that some friendships and things will never be the same. But there's 2 ways you've got to look at it, right? There's 2 ways you've got to look at it. Those people aren't necessarily bad people. Like, I've got a few people around me that, the only thing I had in common with them was the session drinking. And unfortunately, when you go sober and you're in a big mix of people that was your culture, some of them ain't got a problem with it, mate. Some of them can have a drink and a bit of a session, and it ain't ruining their relationship at home. So some people out there can drink and have a little session. No one minds. They ain't fucking up work. They ain't fucking up their work relationships and stuff like that. And they just don't want to be around you because they don't want to tempt you, right? Other people, it's like holding a mirror up to them, and they're like, "Fuck me, if you're fucked." And I'm worse than you, then I'm proper fucked. I don't want to hear about it. So you've got to, no resentment, no beef. You've just got to let you've got to be selfish, man. I've got a guy that's that does a bit of work for me, and I never even knew he had a problem. And he pulled me aside and said, "Mate, my wife's left me. I never even knew he had a problem." But he's like, "I've been listening to your podcast," and I say to him, "Talk to me about anything, mate." And whenever I see him, and he says, my sponsor's doing this, he's not returning my calls, or my friends are doing this. I'm like, fuck everyone, bruv. This is your journey. Yeah. The most important thing right now to you is your sobriety, how you feel, right? Don't worry about making anyone else happy or needing other people. You have to be focused on yourself in order to be the best version of yourself for the people around you. Anyone else that ain't serving that, fuck them.
100%.
Isn't it?
100%. There's a quote that I sort of live by. And when I first heard it, I thought, what the fuck is that all about? But then it makes so much sense. Brandon Novak, who was in Jackass and CKY or something like that, and he was a big heroin addict. I mean, he had everything. He had money, he could afford his addiction, and he was at rock bottom. His story is incredible for people who I recommend listening to it. He ended up on the streets fucking sucking off blokes just so they could give him a fucking hit of heroin and shit like that, right? And he's turned his life completely round, right? And he hosts meetings, he writes books about it. I think he's something like 9 or 10 years clean, something like that. But the quote that I'm getting at is, the quote was, sobriety's given me what drink and drugs has promised me. Fuck.
Wow,
when I
get
first
it.
heard that, but when I first heard it, I was like, what is this fucking clown on about? But now where I am, I'm like, fuck me. Because drink and drugs promise you a great time, promise you a happy life, promise you this and that, but that's a load of bollocks. Sobriety has given me everything drink and drugs has promised me, and it really has, mate. This last 11 months, coming up to my sobriety date, June the 30th, when I do a year, it's given me everything, mate. It has I think I've lived my best year. I've done tours. I just
your work must be on another level, innit? You're firing on different cylinders. I'm the same,
mate. Honestly, I was always good at what I do. I'm not a big-headed person. Same as yourself. You know if you're good or if you're shit at something. And the Magic's always been good at it. I mean, just done a 3.5 week tour with the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and they're fucking mental, mate. Right? They were back in. There's a documentary about them back in the. I think come out in 2001, 3, something like that. But they were mental back in the day, right? And I went on tour with them, and I was thinking, fuck, how's this going to go? And do you know what? Anton, the lead singer, love him to bits. He made sure there was no drinks in my dressing room. He looked after me. He made sure I had soft drinks. He looked after me. At one point, I opened a can up and he thought it was a can of beer. And
he was like that.
Oh no, you haven't got to fall back down there. Is times that bad? And I looked at him and I was like, it's a fucking Coke, mate. He's like, oh, you're all right.
Yeah.
But it's like,
but I love that. That means that they're
looking out. They were looking out for me.
And listen, look, there's two ways of looking at it all. It hurts me that I'm losing followers, and I gain followers through the sobriety, and I lose followers. People like, I can't listen to you no more, and because it hurts sometimes. But the truth of it is when you start moving in a different direction in life, you start moving in a different positive direction in life. That really can trigger some people. It really can. People do not like to look at people doing something that they believe that they can't do. But if you are triggered out there that watching this, if you are triggered by anything that's being said, it means that your subconscious is telling you that you need to look at what's going on, and it's just making that first step and admitting it. Innit? That's it, basically.
If I could advise anyone about this journey I've taken, because as I said, I like yourself get many messages of people saying, I want to do it, but I'm afraid I'm going to miss out. I'm afraid.
That's the big one, isn't it?
What the fuck are you going to miss out on, mate? I've been
carnage.
To gigs. I've been to gigs. I've watched the Happy Mondays sober. I want to watch Paul Weller sober. I went to so many shows and they've been the best gigs I've ever been to. Why? Because I fucking remember it.
Yeah, mate. And I used to think that I suffered with like social anxiety or something, because whenever I went out, I was always sketchy. I was always like, oh, and now I'm like, this is quality. It was the fucking drink and the drugs.
Hey, mate,
it's mad, isn't it?
It's like a mask, isn't it? It covers you up.
But you do get to a point. The only difference is with the drink and the drugs, you're without the drink and the drugs, you can't pretend that you're interested in the shit people talk. So there always does come a point for me when I'm out, I'm like, yeah, this is a load of bollocks, mate. I'm off. You know, drunk people, and I hate saying it because I was the worst. My mates used to call me the arm tapper, because I'd be like, oh, listen. Oh my God, what do you reckon on aliens? What do you think on like that when I was off me nut? And now I'm like, one, because I can't be fucked with it, and two, I look at them, I'm like, oh, that was me, man.
Right, that's the worst thing though, when you see someone like that and they're off the fucking nut and they're just chatting about 100 miles an hour, and you go, fuck,
that was me. Yeah.
And then they ask you a question, and you're like, oh, what?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Can I speak now?
Yeah.
Like, fuck me, man. But I mean,
yeah,
like
man.
I said, what a life. You know? And that's if I can take anything out of this, it's that, you know, I've lived my life. The party has to stop sometime, and for me, I've had great parties. You know, anyone who said, you know, you get people say, oh, I had a bad time on drinking drugs. Fuck me, you should have done them with me. You would have had the best party of your fucking life, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, that's not how you live. You know, you're sort of masking it. You're sort of playing up to it, saying, it's all right to do this. Fuck, it ain't.
Yeah.
And I'm now, as I said, where I am now, clean living under difficult circumstances.
Love that.
You know what I mean?
Love that. Before you go, because we have got to wrap it up, give me that quote again that you said.
Sobriety's given me what drinking drugs have promised me.
I love that. Where can they find you on Instagram and Twitter?
Instagram, I need to build my following up on that, right? So you can give me a little push with that, because some geezer hacked me about fucking, I know.
Oh, right. It was him sending the dick pics, yeah?
No. But it's like all this cryptocurrency shit, and people are like, oh, Ben, is it real? Will I get a Mercedes and shit? And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Turn it in. But yeah, it's like there's about 4 different accounts on Instagram, but one's like the Magic Mod, and then on Facebook a page, the Magic Mod, and then on Twitter's my main one, Taylor Mod on Twitter, and that's where I'm always active on that, because I do like a bit of a tweet.
We'll put it.
I appreciate that, man.
We'll put it up.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for sharing your story, Ben, mate.
It means a lot. Thank you.
That was great. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Make sure you go and follow the Magic Mod on Twitter. Yeah, man. This is what this is all about. Interesting stories. Very relatable. Really related to the stuff you're saying about your partner. You know what I mean? Thank you for sharing that. And I think it's a beautiful thing to take away from this is, if you're in a position where, you know you've got a bit of a problem, everything's going a little bit wrong for you, but you're like, oh, I'm going to miss out. I don't want to miss out on the social aspect. I don't want to stop going down the pub. Put it this way, if you've done it for long enough and you've rinsed it and you've done it for long enough, just look at sobriety as, oh, right, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try and enjoy something new, enjoy a new look. And you don't have to do it forever if you don't want to. If that's too scary for you, give yourself a bit of time. But I think we're both here living proof that life gets better.
100%, man.
Life gets better. Thank you very much. Subscribe. Get my tour tickets. Come see me live. Their tour is on sale. 28 dates across the UK. Do not miss that. Jump on my Instagram. I'm funny as fuck, mate. Honestly, if you're bored of the sobriety chat, come along and I'm going to do sobriety jokes. No, I'm joking. And we're going to have a good chat on there. Hit me up on Instagram. Make sure you follow my guy here. And that is Menace to Sobriety. Sharing is caring. Thank you very much. Oh yes, and don't forget, if you want to come and see me live and meet me, I'm going on tour. The Daniel O'Reilly Out of Character full UK tour kicks off in January 2024, and tickets are on sale right now. I'm going to try and get out and meet as many of you as possible, and of course, I'm going to be bringing the laughs all over the UK. There's 23 dates right now, and I'm adding more all the time. Hit the link in the bio and get your tickets now and come have some fun. If you're going through a tough time at the moment, please don't suffer in silence. Feel free to pick up the phone and contact any of these helplines. I personally, myself, at one of my darkest points, contacted the Samaritans, and it completely changed my outlook and got me out of a really deep, dark place. A problem shared really is a problem halved. So if you don't feel confident talking to those around you, check out any of these organisations and give them a call. This is my Facebook group. Just simply search on Facebook, Men and Their Emotions. It's for men only, but once you're in there, you can talk anonymously about your problems,
and help others and just feel a little bit of community. So come join the conversation, Men and Their Emotions, on Facebook. Thanks for watching.
Menace to sobriety. Just a menace. Just a menace. Just a menace. Menace to sobriety.